Hi there, welcome to another video in my sequence showing you how I'm programming using X's and O's the layout for my X-Touch Mini. Now I've got the Honeycomb yoke and throttle quadrant, and this is a direct continuation of my previous video, so there'll be a link here coming up and in the description so you can backtrack and go and see the previous video if you haven't, where I've worked through 4 of the controls so far, and we're carrying on with that exactly as we left it. So I'm not going to go into too much of the theory in this video. I want to just sort of steam ahead and carry on. So you need to see the previous video if you haven't watched it, and you need to know the theory behind it. It's very much editing scripts that already exist. So I showed how you build them, and this is about editing them. So where we were up to was we have allocated the buttons for the 2 nav radios, the 2 COM radios, and the FMS buttons and knobs for the PFD and the MFD. So if I go into the cockpit, we've done the nav radio, we've done the comms radio, and we have done the FMS buttons here and the similar ones on the MFD with the multifunction flight display over there. So we've done those. What we're trying to do now is to look at doing this one here, which is the course and the barometer stack, and also we're going to stack the heading button on top of the range button that I use for the map on the other side. So that's what we're going to do here. So again, looking back into my PowerPoint, it's this one here, the barometer and the course button with its toggle that we're going to put in there, and then we'll do those two there. So back in the cockpit, and I'm going to put my camera on up there so you can see all the buttons and everything that I press and any LEDs that come on. And we will have X's and O's in place, and we'll go and do some scripting. So what we're doing is we're recycling some scripts that we've already got working and just changing some features of it. So we want the script editor up, and I've got a group for my Honeycomb scripts, and we're going to write another toggle. We're going to toggle the barometer variable. So I can use any of the toggles ones, and we just say we're going to toggle the barometer variable. So when we create the barometer variable, it will be created and the value will be 0. So it'll be saying that it's false, that we're in barometer mode. So therefore we're in course mode, which is how I want it to be. I want that to be the default. So by default, we're not in barometer mode. And that's a bit of a strange logic, but that's kind of how it works. It creates it, but it says it's not true. And this is the script which will say that if I press the button that I allocate this to, that the barometer will change from false to true. So there's saying send a 1 to the barometer variable. Again, can't emphasize enough, check your capitalization. Otherwise it will create a new variable and the two won't work together. So that's it, that's the script. Because we've changed the name of it, it'll be regarded as a new script, so we can save that as new, and that's there. So we've now got a barometer toggle. We need to add that to our LED script. This script goes through and it checks all the variables and it turns the LEDs on and off as required. So I'm going to just recycle this one, insert it in here, and this is where we want to just check the barometer, and we need to now access this button here. This is 9, 10, 11, 12. So we're up to device number 13 now for the barometer. So we just changed that to 13. We haven't changed the name of the script. We've added to the script, so it's an update. We just update that script, and that's done. So we've got a script that we can toggle. We can change the lights for it. We now need to be able to decrease and increase the values, and it's slightly different from the ones we did before. Let's bring in a decrease for let's use the nav one. We'll go with the com one because that's nice and easy at the top. We'll rename this one, and this is again the barometer or the course, but it's the barometer. I'm focusing on the variable I'm using, so I'm using the variable baro. So we need to have the baro as my variable, and if it's not the barometer, which it wouldn't be by default, if it's a 0, we want it to change the course, not the barometer. To decrease our course setting. So if I take all of that out, so I've just got the curly brackets, just got the braces left. And now I'll work within that. I'm going to insert a sim variable to change the course on that, as if I've turned the course knob. So I need to filter for the G1000, and it's the PFD side that I'm changing, and I'm looking for the course button, and there it is, the PFD course, and I want to decrease it. So we just double click and that's in. If it's not the course button I'm decreasing, it must be the barometer that I'm decreasing. So again, I'll take everything out, just leaving the curly brackets, the braces, and work within that, and we'll insert, using the same filter, the barometer. So we can have that as, and they're still decreased, they're both decreases. So going the same direction, but it's whether I'm doing the barometer or the course. Okay, and that's done. So HC baro decrease done. Save that as new. And we can actually recycle this one. We can just say straight away that actually this is now going to be the increase version, and we'll change the, looking at the same variable, but we'll change this decrease to an increase. And that one to an increase. So we can save that now as new. So a bit of allocating now. Firstly, I want to allocate the push switch that's on the end of there, so that changes between barometer and course. So let's go find it. I'm going to set myself a little filter here, so it looks in my HC script straight away, and I want the toggle for the barometer allocated to this button here. So I press that, and that's done. In fact, we can probably check that and make sure that it's lighting up, and it is. So we know the toggle is working. Only one direction. Always worth checking. It's not going, it's toggling up but not toggling down, so we will check that script on the baro toggle. And I can see exactly what I've done there. So we'll update that script and we'll just check it again, and there it is working. Okay, so just didn't delete quite enough out. and it's created another variable, and that's why it doesn't work. It's probably worth you seeing the mistakes. I'm making enough of them, and you learn by them. So there we are. That one's working. So now I want to allocate the decrease and the increase for those. So let's do the decrease one first. So again, we'll look through my scripts, and I want the barrow decrease, and give that a good turn to the left. Add that, and we'll do the same for the increase one. Barrow increase allocated. Add that, and we will now just check that they work. So it should be in course mode to start with. So when I turn this knob, I should see the course increasing and decreasing. So that's working. If I press the button, I should be now affecting the barometer. So increasing and decreasing the barometer. So we have control of both of them. So that's working as expected. Just checking on our PowerPoint presentation. We've got that working, we've got the toggle working. Nothing was allocated down here for that. We had to allocate push switches and active swaps and things for those. So that works exactly as we wanted. So now we've got the heading and the range to sort out. And I'm pretty sure that you can guess where this is going. So back in the scripts. And we're using range as our variable here. So it's toggling the range. So I want range in that one there. And if I highlight that and insert it close, and the same with this one here, saving a bit of typing, a bit of cut and pasting. So that's all done. We're toggling the range, so we can save that as a new script, update the LED script. Oh, that doesn't work. Okay, we'll undo that. I want range in there. And we are going to be heading for LED number 14. Update that one. And now we've got the increase and decrease one. So we'll use this as the decrease. And again, I'm focusing on the variable I'm using, although it will change the heading as well as the range. When I name it, I'm just going to name it after the variable I'm after. So it's going to be the range is my variable here. And what I wanted to do, well, if it's not doing the range, I want it to change the heading bug. So what I'll do is I will completely wipe that out and just leave the braces, the curly brackets in, and let's go hunting for the heading bug. So it's the PFD side of things. And you can see that the heading isn't there. and it's one of the few variables that they haven't done a specific one for the Garmin 1000. So we have to go back to sort of old schoolish and look for a sim event. And so if we do a search then for the heading, well, there's a lot of places it could be, but it's actually strangely in flight assistance, and it's the heading bug, and it's the decrease version I'm after, so we'll do that. We'll use heading bug decrease. So that's the sort of weirdest one there. Now what I want to do here is to have decreasing the range for the MFD side, because I want to be able to control the zoom on the map. So what we were doing before, searching for the MFD rather than the PFD. That's the side that I want to work on. And we've got MFD range decrease, so I'll put that in for this one here. So that's there. This has now been changed. We're looking at the right variable, save as new, and what we can do now is edit this one to be the increase version. So having found them, we can then just edit them. Okay, so increase, save as new. Now we go about allocating those. So the first one to allocate will be the toggle. And this one is toggling the range. And that is this one here. So we'll click on that to allocate it, click on add, and again we can check that the LED scripts are working, and they are perfectly well this time. That's good. And now we'll do the decrease version. And this is the range decreaser. Turn the knob to allocate it, click add, and the increase version. Okay, so a little bit of testing. So it should be in course mode to start with. So sorry, heading bug mode. So the heading bug is moving in both directions, so that's absolutely great. And we can check the range now. If we flick over here, we'll put it into range mode, so the lights are all on, we're in range mode, and that's working. So I've got both buttons working on there quite happily. If we go back here and look at my PowerPoint, let's get my arrow over here. I've also got this button here, which is the 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth one across. I don't want to disturb this setup. It'd be nice to have it in line with that. Perhaps I should have swapped those over. That's a thing to think about. But anyway, when I print the label out, it'll be labelled. So fifth one across here, that one there is designed to emulate this bit here when you push to sync the heading bug to your actual course that you're flying, or the way you're pointing now. So I might as well allocate that in while I'm about it. So let's bring up and assign that. So if I pull that down here, in the basic and I'm sure that I got this, it came downloaded with it, but if not, I'll show you what the script looks like in a bit, and it's not that hard to write a script that does this. But this one synchronizes the heading. So we'll allocate that to the fifth one across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Allocate that to there, and add, and then we'll just check that it's working. So if I bring that up here, when I press the button, that should swing around to here. So fifth one across, and that synchronizes it. So if you haven't got that script, so it's a pretty simple script. We'll just have a quick look at it now. In this basic section here, it reads your heading according to the gyro. So it's reading a variable, an A variable, an aeroplane variable, plane heading degrees, gyro in degrees, and it sends it to the heading bug set. So it reads one variable and reads it into the other, writes it into the other. So I'll leave that there for a few seconds so you can see it. So you can write yourself a script for that if you haven't got it already. It's a dead easy one to do. So that's that really. We've now pretty well got all the way across these rotaries. Yeah, I'm niggling about whether to change those over or not. So that's in line. But it'll work, it works. That's all done there. So what's left, and these are done, that's done, those are done. So it's a few more buttons along here to do, which I'll do in another video. And then we'll do the switches and the trim wheel and a few other bits and pieces on the actual honeycomb itself. And then we'll be pretty much there. And then it's looking at the Stream Deck and seeing what I actually need left on the Stream Deck after that. Okay, so I'll see you in the next video.